Hey, beautiful. This is your intuitive consultant and life coach, Avalaura, with another edition of Avalaura Heal My Life podcast. Listen in each week because I'm helping you to heal your life, heal your relationships, learn how to do meaningful work in the world, and make an impact that creates legacy. So go ahead and get your pen and paper, get your favorite drink, and listen in now. Greetings, beautiful ones. This is Avalaura, your intuitive consultant and life coach, here with another amazing edition of Avalaura Heals. Make sure you tune in each week to heal from whole to wholeness in your life, relationships, business, and career. And today I have another amazing guest for you. I'm always so excited when I get to present you with somebody that I know who is doing amazing work and who can truly help you to heal in one of the or various aspects of your life. So as always, you want to get your pen and paper out. You're going to want to take notes. It's going to be a lot of good information. And before I introduce you to today's guest, I just want you to imagine this for a moment. And ladies, this is for you. I'm sure men can relate to, but ladies, this is specifically for you. I want you to imagine that you've been at work all day, you've gone to your 9 to 5, or most of you is not really 9 to 5, it may be 9 to 6 or 9 to 7. You fought your way back home in traffic. You had an extremely stressful day. You're working on this project that there's this deadline that you have to meet and it's really stressing you out. So you might be bringing work home. You get home and you got to help your children with their homework. You have to cook. You got to take care of your husband, make sure he gets some attention as well. And then finally, after all of that, you get to put the kids away, you bathe them, you put them to sleep. You have a moment to yourself and you boil some water. You get a nice tea bag or some fresh tea leaves and you just sit down, relax, put your feet up, and drink a nice cup of tea. That's what we're going to be talking about today. You all know that I am a proponent of soulful self-care. And if you don't know what soulful self-care is, then go back and listen to the previous episode where I talk about that. But this is one of the ways that I practice self-care is through drinking tea. And today we have a tea expert. So I'm so excited about this because this is something that I've always done. I drink tea almost every single day, sometimes twice a day. So if you're not a tea drinker yet, after this, I know you're going to want to start to make this a part of your daily practice. So let me tell you about today's guest, Miss Sharon Levy. She is passionate about bringing civility and humanity back into society. As a program director, she creates social tea gatherings, empowering and engaging workshops where individuals can come together to learn and celebrate each other. These programs are enriched by Ms. Levy's certification in tea education by the Specialty Tea Institute, STI. It's a division of the Tea Association of the United States of America. I didn't even know that existed. So here I am. I'm learning right along with you. So please join me in welcoming Miss Sharon Levy.
And thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I was ready to put my feet up and go and get me some tea for this conversation.
Awesome. You know, I always tell people, when I say, hey, the new episode of Avalaura Heals Radio is coming out, grab your favorite coffee, your tea, favorite beverage, have a drink and listen in. So this is definitely one of those episodes where you want to do that and listen in. So before we get into everything, what's your favorite kind of tea?
Oh my gosh. It really depends on my mood, to be honest, because I love all kinds of tea, red teas, black teas, green teas, white teas. I love them all. So it really depends on my mood.
And I love that you said that, because I'm sure some, people listening in today say, wait a minute, red tea, black tea, white tea. I know about green tea. I know about black tea. What are all these other teas, right? So I know this is going to be a lot of good information for a lot of people, because I think Americans, we don't know too much about tea. I'm sure you can speak more about this, but I know Europeans, this is a part of their, in Europe, and British culture, even Africans, I have friends who are men, they gather around together and they have this whole tea ritual and they drink tea together. So in even Caribbean. So I think Americans, this is something that we don't know as much about. So can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get into being, the tea lady?
Yeah, well, I am Jamaican. So we grew up drinking tea, mostly herbal teas like ginger root. We drank peppermint. We drank cerasee, which is a herbal tea to kind of cleanse you out. It's very bitter.
Yes.
And also sorrel. So those were some of the teas that we drank every day. And I just loved the experience. So because I love to entertain, I just wanted to do this whole tea thing because I think it's so special for people to come together, like I said, enjoy each other's company and great conversation. So that's really what sparked me into getting into it, is because we sat around and had tea at home with the family.
I love that. And so it really is a very communal experience, it sounds like.
It is. It is. And it's, I always talk about it in two different ways. So bringing people together is one way to do tea, but also just you alone. It's a great way for you to just take a moment to breathe, be present, go deep inside your soul and say, why am I here? And just to be grateful. So those are the two real purposes that I use tea for. And it's just a great thing to do, to get connected with yourself and to get connected with people.
I love that. And one of the things, and this is, I never, studied tea and didn't know anything about there being a tea association of America, none of these things. But for me, I've always found tea to be very nourishing and just very nurturing. Yes. And so that's how I like to start off my morning, exactly what you said. I like to start it with my breakfast, and it just gives me time to just kind of reflect and just pause and just enjoy.
Yes, yes. That's what I recommend for people to start their morning with tea. Just pour the tea. I particularly like flavored tea because it acts like aromatherapy. But some tea drinkers don't like flavor. They just like it just straight, no flavor at all. But I use it because when I do the tea parties, I like people to get relaxed and unwind. So that aromatherapy of the smell of it, it just helps you to just enjoy and, just de-stress.
So what's considered a flavored tea?
So we have like a bourbon vanilla. We have like an orange spice. We have like a Belgian chocolate, peppermint tea, those are different types of flavors.
So they have the flavors. And then when you're talking about the aromatherapy benefits, so you're talking about the aroma of the tea as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
So let's get into that, because this show is all about healing. So what are some of the healing benefits of drinking tea? And I know we're going to talk a lot about this. If you join us all for the event on March 26th, not only will we be talking about this, but you'll get to experience it as well through drinking the teas. But, if you had to tell people, this is why it's so important to drink tea this day and age, what would those reasons be?
Well, tea helps. There's so many different things that tea does. It helps to de-stress you. That's first and foremost. But if you have different ailments, so if you have high blood pressure, it can help to lower your blood pressure. It can help to lower your cholesterol. It also helps with fighting some types of cancer. It has so many of those benefits for you. But what I'd like to say is for everyone, it does help to relax you. That's the first thing that you feel right away when you start drinking tea, is to feel relaxed. The stress just comes off of you. Those are the things that, tea really helps you with.
I love that. The stress just comes off. It just melts away.
It does. It really does.
And so one of the things that you said is that you recommend that we all drink tea first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other good times that it's good to drink tea?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I tell people like early afternoon.
Okay.
Maybe right after lunch, maybe like around 2:00, because by that time let's say you work in corporate America or out of the home, there's so much going on. Your life is busy. So let's say you are a parent and you drop your kids to school, then you got to rush, take the bus or the train or drive far to get to work. Then when you get to work, there's all this stuff going on, and then you're so stressed out. Yeah. So tea is going to help you to, again, bring it down, relax. So like 2 in the afternoon is also a good time to do it. But tea also not only relaxes you, but you can also get rejuvenated as well. You know, so in the morning, let's say you wanted to do a tea with caffeine to just get you the energy. That's really a good thing to do in the mornings. And the same thing for the afternoon. If you want to, after you've relaxed, now you're rejuvenated. So it kind of does two things at the same time, you know, depending on which tea you drink. Because we also have teas that are naturally no caffeine or decaf, which is, of course, like coffee. If you don't have caffeine, it's going to relax you. Or the herbal teas also are good for that. So depending on what you want, if you want to be energized or if you want to be relaxed during the day, you know, I would recommend you doing caffeine more for the energizing and non-caffeine or naturally no caffeine to just relax.
And are the herbal teas, are they the non-caffeinated?
They're naturally no caffeine. So you can drink those all day long. And that's where now the red tea that we were talking about, it's called rooibos, or they have the honeybush. Those are from South Africa.
Yes.
Those are naturally no caffeine. And there's a big difference between decaf and naturally no caffeine. So the decaf, there is a small percentage of caffeine in it because they pull it out, but there's always a bit still left in there. So I recommend to people try either the herbal teas or the rooibos or honeybush because it's naturally no caffeine whatsoever.
That is so good to know. So even in the decaffeinated teas, there's still a little bit of caffeine in there. But the herbal teas are naturally just no caffeine.
Right.
That is so good to know for everybody listening because I know particularly like even during pregnancy where women are not supposed to have as much caffeine. And, you know, tea is one of the things that they'll still like to drink because especially like if they can't drink their coffee. So one of the things that could be happening is that they could still be getting caffeine, not understanding that because they think they're drinking decaffeinated, but there's still caffeine in there.
There's still a little bit. It's not high, but it's still enough in there that, you know, especially if you're pregnant, you don't want to have any caffeine, you know, more than likely. I'm sure the doctors are telling you maybe not caffeine.
So that's really good to know, you guys. So that's a great tip right there that she just gave us, that if you want to make sure that you're absolutely not having any caffeine, make sure you get those herbal teas because they're naturally decaffeinated versus the decaffeinated, which just strip the caffeine out. I love that. See, I've been drinking tea for years and I never knew that. The other thing that you said that's key is that it's a good time to drink tea around 2 p.m. And I know that that's usually tea time. And so is that why it's tea time? So it's kind of this after lunch, that de-stress, take a break after lunch. Is that why it's 2 p.m.?
Well, I mean, people would have it around 2 p.m. Like, let's say if they wanted to do like an afternoon tea is more when they start like at 2:00. But I kind of just said 2:00 because that's kind of right after lunch before you get back into the whole swing of work again. So that's a good time to start. It doesn't have to be. It could be 1:00. It could be 3:00. But I like to just say around 2:00 is a good time to do it. But people can kind of do it when they need it because some people might need it sooner than others.
Absolutely. So, and again, and that goes back to that soulful self-care. Listen to your body. Listen to what you need.
Yes.
And I love this aspect, particularly, you know, at work, because tea is something that you can drink anywhere. And so if you are particularly at a job that's stressful, or even if it's not even that stressful, you just need a break.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes we just need a break.
For sure.
I love that this is something very simple that you can do anywhere that you are. You just need some hot water, and some tea, boil it, and you can do that at work. And so I love that aspect of it as well, that there's really no excuse for not doing this. It's really more just having that awareness and listening to yourself and just taking that time out.
Right, exactly. And people sometimes think that it's a lot of work, but it's not a lot of work. It's really easy, but there's a couple things that I like to recommend with the whole tea time as well. Because people might say I'm a tea snob.
Well, everybody knows I'm a foodie, aka food snob, and so that extends over to everything regarding food. So, I have friends that, they have Lipton tea, and I'm like, oh no, I don't do that. What is that? That's not even tea, So I'm with you. I am unapologetic about that.
Right. So what I also recommend in terms of tea time is using a China teacup. Like you don't want to use a mug. You don't want to use a paper cup. You want to use a fine China teacup. Now, I always recommend the finer, the better. Because one, the thinner it is where you put your mouth on the top, on the teacup, the tea is going to go more directly into your mouth than if you use a mug. So think about a mug, how thick the mug is. And when you put that in your mouth to drink the tea, it's like a barrier.
I've never thought of that.
The thinner it is, the better for you. Just like think about wine. Wine is not going to taste good in a plastic cup or a paper cup. It's supposed to be in a certain type of cup. Mm-hmm. So the same thing goes for the China teacup. So a lot of times I tell my clients, take one of your favorite China teacups to work and just have that there and just use that. And you are going to feel so much better. You can pamper yourself in 5 minutes. Like you don't have to always go and spend all this money to spa. You can just take your teacup at work, one of your favorite teas, and just drink your tea whenever you want. And that's going to make you feel special, along with all the other things of relaxation or rejuvenation.
I really love that, because really what you're talking about is making it a very special experience.
Yes.
Really creating a ritual.
Yes.
And that's very psychological, because then what happens is whenever you pull out that teacup, it's a signal to your mind, to your body, to your spirit to just relax. This is your time.
Yes.
So I love that idea of making it really ritualized and making it a very special experience.
Right. Because, I know when I was in corporate, you're supposed to get a couple breaks during the day, but a lot of the times people don't do that. Right. So I tell people, take 5-10 minutes. That could make or break your day of how you're feeling. Stress really can kill you.
Yeah.
And so it's really important for people to take, 1 or 2 breaks a day to just unwind and de-stress and just feel good about who they are, just for that moment. It's really important.
That is such a beautiful thing. I hope you all are writing this down. I hope that you will go back through and listen to this again, because Sharon has just given us some awesome advice. And like I said, I've been drinking tea religiously for years, and these are things that I wasn't even aware of. So I love that I'm learning right along with you all. So if let's say there's somebody listening in here that says, you know what, I don't even drink tea. Like, I don't know the first thing about tea. What are some of the first things that if somebody wants to incorporate tea now into their lifestyle, what are some of the things that they need to know?
Well, you need to know that just because tea is in a tea bag, that doesn't mean that it's not good tea. So before I really got certified in it, I thought that loose tea was the ultimate. That means, oh no, that's great tea. Anything else that's in tea bags is not good.
Okay.
But really, that's not the case. It really depends on, there's so many different parts of the whole tea process, from the growing to the picking to the sorting to just so many different aspects of it. So you just have to be able to look and know from how it looks, from the smell of it, if it's fresh, and it has to do with like the sorting of the different sizes of the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so many different pieces that you have to kind of look and learn. Well, you have to kind of learn it first to know that you're buying quality.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And these are things that we'll be talking about at the workshop, right?
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. So if you are in or around the DC area, and I say if you're within 4 hours, you are in or around the area, like Sharon is actually going to be coming from New Jersey. So if you are in or around the Washington, DC area, March 26th from 2 to 4 p.m. tea time, we are having an amazing crown tea, where you are going to learn all about the healing benefits of tea. So she'll be talking about all of this and more, but you'll get to experience it. You'll get to drink tea, have dessert, and you're going to learn how to wrap your crowns, how to wrap your hair. And so it's just going to be an amazing time out, for 2 hours, gathering in Avalaura's Healing Center here in College Park, Maryland, in a very sacred space with other queens. And we're just going to get together and have an amazing time.
I can't wait. I definitely can't wait because I love your crowns, girl.
Thank you. So this is going to be a great time. So if you want to learn more about that process that we're not going to get into today, you definitely want to join us. But, there's another question that I just thought about is, does tea does it go bad?
It does. And it's from the times, and it depends on which brand of tea you're getting and the type of tea. But most tea can last approximately 2 years, but it has to be stored correctly.
Okay.
So out of the sun, it has to be in a cool, dry place. If it's open, and because sometimes people put it in packages and it's not closed properly, it has to be in a tight, concealed container for it to contain the freshness.
Okay.
So those are some of the things that people have to realize. Because I've had clients that have bought tea from me and say, "Oh, it's still sitting on the shelf like so many years later." I'm like,
yes,
it's no good anymore. You got to throw it out.
That's why I thought about that. And I know, and just talking about the packaging, like I like a lot of premium teas, and some of them come in canisters.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's better than the regular packaging. It might last a little bit longer because it's closed in and locked in that canister.
Right. You just have to, yes, it has to be a tight seal. And like I said, away from the sunlight, away from heat, in just a cool, dry place is the ultimate. And just kind of, mark off when you purchased it, and approximately how long you'll have it after that.
That makes perfect sense. And so for somebody who's is new to tea, and we're going to go into how it's cultivated and how it gets to us, but maybe what are some brands or some teas that you would recommend for the newbie, or for the more experienced tea drinker?
Right. Well, I'm going to be biased because I do sell my own brand of tea as well.
Hey, talk about it.
Taking Tea and Style. My company name, really, it's just under my company name. So we do have it on my website, takingteandstyle.com. I do like Tiavana as well. That's another company that I really like.
Yeah, Tiavana has done very well. I love their tea gadgets, like they have a lot of cool things because, like you said, I was kind of like you, where I like loose leaf tea, but I don't want to deal with it every day, especially if you just want something quick, you just want to throw the bag in. But I will say Tiavana has some great stuff where if you do like to have loose leaf tea, it makes it easier for you to drink your loose leaf tea every day.
It does, but they have the tea brewers that you can just put the tea in, put it in your cup, and just take it and just throw it out. Yep. Or you have sometimes you have the tea bags. It's the same tea. Like what I do is I actually customize my loose tea and put it in tea bags for my clients. Now I have unbleached tea bags, which are healthier for you.
Okay.
So, that's what I do for my clients, is just customize it and put it in the tea bags for them, because it's a great way to just take it with you without going through all the hassle of when you sit down at home to do the whole ritual of the loose tea. Mm-hmm. But I'll be honest, a lot of tea drinkers, that's the only way they want to drink tea.
Yeah, I mean, when you start to really get into the art of tea drinking,
Yes.
yes, it does happen that way. So actually talk about that. So when you say that you customize tea for your customers, what does that look like?
So we have like on the website, we have like 2 ounces of loose, or we take that 2 ounces and we put it in tea bags for you. So you might get 25 tea bags of
Okay.
tea. Or if you wanted 4 ounces, or, I just customize it
Got
according to what
you.
you want. Sometimes people have like bridal showers or they have different things, and I will just create like individual bags for them that they want to give out. And we put that just in some nice packaging for them as well. So
That's a
we make it
wonderful
special.
idea. So you can put their name and everything on
Yes.
it. And that's a great idea. That's
Yeah.
a great gift. So for those of you all listening, I told you I love tea. That would be a great gift for me. Like if you want to give me something, some custom tea, that, it's sometimes it's the little things. Like that
It
would make me
is.
so
It
happy.
is.
I hate when people just get you things that you'll never use,
Right.
that they like, oh, let me just get her a gift certificate because I don't know what she wants. But things like that are thoughtful that you would actually use every day, that's awesome.
It is. It is. It's an inexpensive gift that can just make you feel like $1,000.
I love that. I love that. So really, so newbies, so you want to pay attention really to processing, know that tea does expire. Because I know people who have had the same tea on their shelves for years. So
Mhm.
that's why I asked that question. Anything else that people need to look out for or think about when they're drinking tea?
Well, you definitely have to make sure that you're brewing it correctly. So if it
Ah,
says 3 to 5 minutes, don't wait till 5 minutes and then say, "Oh my God, this tea is so bitter." You got to start from that 3 minutes. That's really important, and the
and
temperature as
And
well.
I will say that's only the premium teas because I think, when you get I just keep thinking of Lipton or Bigelow's or, things like that. I don't think they have the brewing time on there.
Mhm.
But I
And the
know
temperature.
that the premium teas, they'll tell you, and I know that it's based on like if it's a green tea or a black tea or something
Right.
like that, it'll tell you how long to actually brew it for.
Right, as well as the temperature as well.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people pay attention to that. So are you saying that the longer you brew it, it gets more bitter? Is that what happens?
Yes, exactly. Now, the one tea that never gets bitter is the rooibos or the honeybush. The red
Okay.
tea is That's why those are one of my favorite teas because it never gets bitter. You don't really mess it up. You
Got
can keep the
it.
bags in all day long, and I've had the bags in all day
Hmm.
long, and it gets a little stronger, but it never gets bitter.
I love that. And
Yeah.
so part of the reason too, I mean, because I know sometimes when people drink tea, they might use a little too much sugar.
Oh yeah.
So what do you recommend for that? And it sounds like if we don't allow it to get bitter, we won't need as much sugar.
Exactly. And I tell people always taste the tea before you put anything in it. And I'll tell you, the honeybush and the rooibos, they do have like a natural sweet taste to it.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't even put sugar in it. I'll be honest. Some people do, but most of the people that I work with, they don't put sugar in that because it
Okay.
just tends to have a sweetness about it anyway.
That's very good to know. And
Mhm.
sugar or honey, or does it matter? Is it preference?
Well, if I do both. So I like sugar in the raw because it's
Okay.
better than the white sugar because white sugar doesn't really have any real, good qualities about it.
Exactly.
But, the sugar in the raw is better. But you have to kind of be careful with honey because depending on the type of honey, it can change the flavor of the tea as well.
Hmm.
Because I've had some honey that the honey is really delicious, but it now changes the tea. So
Got
if
you.
you're doing any kind of sweetener, I would say just put very little so
Okay.
that it will just slightly enhance the flavor instead of changing the flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think most people say like 2 teaspoons. Is that good or is that a little
I
too much?
I personally, again, it's preference. Everybody's taste buds are different, but for me, 2 is too much.
Okay.
I would say half to 1.
Wow.
But I mean, I have a friend that uses like 6 sugar cubes, and I
Wow.
and I joke with her and say, "Are you having sugar or are you having tea?"
Yes, I have a friend. and it was really good quality tea. We were at a conference, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was like the loose leaf in the sachet. So really good tea. And he put so much sugar and honey.
Oh my gosh.
What are you doing to that tea? I said, you're not drinking tea, you're drinking sugar.
Right.
I mean, I was flabbergasted. And he looked at me like, leave me alone to my tea.
Yeah.
But I had never seen anybody do that before. But yeah, so I understand that. And what about milk? Because I know you like the British, you see it, they drink it with the sugar and the milk. I personally don't drink it with milk. Is there a reason for that?
Well, again, it's a cultural thing. So I'm Jamaican, and we have the British influence in Jamaica. So that I do love milk in my tea.
Okay.
I don't put it in all of my tea, but like a lot of my black tea, I put it in. Or if I want to make it more like a dessert type thing with the sugar and the milk. So like I have a Belgian chocolate red tea. And if I want to make it more of a dessertish, I'll put a little milk in it.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. You want to make sure you come to our Crown Tea. I'm excited about trying all these different teas. That just sounded divine. Like my taste buds like, ooh, what does that taste like? I can't wait to get my hands on that. So any closing thoughts, anything else that you want to leave our listeners with?
I just want to say, come on down to DC, to this Crown Tea, because it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to learn how to wrap, headpieces, because I am so into hats and things like that. So I know I'm going to have fun, and I know everybody else will too, because the two combinations about, coming together, I love that already. So I just can't wait for this event to take place.
It's going to be fabulous, because I feel like, I'm excited about tea, so I'll get to learn more. You're excited about the head wraps, the crowns, so you'll get to learn more. And all the women gathering, all the queens gathering are going to feel the same way. So I think they're just an amazing complement to each other. So we're going to have a wonderful time. So thank you so much, Sharon. You have just dropped some jewels. So I can't wait to this event, because I feel like, I've just gotten my appetite wet. I'm going to learn so much more. So I'm excited. Yeah. And I get to have tea and dessert, like two of my favorite things. What?
Yeah, this is going to be a whole lot of fun. And I just can't wait to see all the sisters enjoying each other's company and rapping and just having tea time.
Yes, that's going to be a phenomenal event. All about soulful self-care. Yes. Celebration. So I'll be celebrating my birthday, Crowned by Avalaura's 1-year anniversary, and just having fun with beautiful women such as yourself. So thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your time and your experience. I can't wait to meet you in person. And thank you, everybody, for listening to Avalaura Heals Radio. We'll be back next week with a new episode. Until then, wishing you peace, love, and bountiful blessings. Hey, beautiful. Thank you for listening to another edition of Avalaura Heal My Life podcast. Join me each and every week to move from whole to wholeness in your life, your relationships, your business, and your career. And if now is the time for you to embrace all that you are for your most incredible life, go ahead and email me today at avalaura@avalaura.com for your own personal consultation. And while you're at it, I'm Googleicious, so you can find more information about me online. Go to my website at avalaura.com and join my mailing list.